want, or I need to do, so the chat will pop up right here. So refresh it. Yep. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. So we're in Ripon, California. Um, you have to bear with me. This will be the first time I've ever done live. I've got Chris and Jolie with me, so we're trying to get everything set up so that we will be able to read the comments and answer your questions as you're asking them. So for the first little bit here, might be a little bit of us running around as we get everything set up. Please bear with me, and we'll get you guys the best content we can. So we'll be right back. Okay, so this. All right, so we've got the tablet working. Thank you, Chris, for allowing us to use your tablet so that I can answer your guys' questions live. How's it sound? Herb, can you hear okay? No? Something? I'm just trying to make sure that the camera's actually picking up my voice from this far away. No? Nothing? Somebody who's in here, can you hear okay? Is the audio coming through from this far away? I'm about double my normal distance from the phone. There's 3 people watching. So yeah, I think I don't know if they can actually hear. I'm not here. Yep, there we go. Getting something out of the tablet now. Well, they can't talk to you. Oh, you're trying to hear yourself. Gotcha. All right, so. All right. Hey, Gage, can you hear okay? Awesome. Got a response. And Canada. I did not know I had a subscriber up in Canada. That's awesome. Thank you. So this is purely Q&A. I have a couple topics that I'm going to cover, but for the most part, this video is going to be you you guys asking myself and Chris, who's back there keeping an eye on the camera, any questions that you may have about transporting as a whole. And anything that we can do to help you guys out. Okay, I remember, I get a lot of emails, so you'll have to excuse me if I didn't remember specifically you mentioning that you're from Canada. So I did one of these on Instagram a couple weeks ago and got a decent amount of questions from you guys. And figured since I finally reached the benchmark for YouTube to say that it was okay for me to go live, I figured I would do one here and see what happens. Indiana's still running good, Gage. Out here on the west, it's drying up pretty bad. Nope, nothing specific. Just Q&A. We're trying to keep it RV transport related. What's going on, Ricky? You're one of my first subscribers. I remember you just because I had a friend that had a similar back name in high school. Similar last name in high school. Being in Ohio, you're not real far from Indiana. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Right now, our Indiana board is still going. How many did you say you saw there, Chris?
506.
Right. So right now we got a little over 500 on the Indiana board. Out here on the West board, I think we're under 20 now.
And I'd say about 20 of those are still FEMA relief.
So and we are doing FEMA loads out of Indiana as well. The ones that we have right now are FEMA loads as well. It's something I'm looking at. I know there's more money to be made there, but I'm just not sure if it's enough to compensate for the price of the trailer and the getting the bed deleted and new lights and rewiring and having something made up to go over the frame rail so it doesn't look terrible. So it's something I'm still looking into, doing my research. I have before made many uneducated actions. Saw something, just jumped for it, and it bit me pretty hard. So I'm trying to look at this one from every angle and make the best call.
2015.
That's Chris. Like I said, he's behind the camera, just making sure that the feed doesn't shut off.
I'm camera shy, so I'm staying back here.
Yeah, Chris has been with me for a lot of my videos, but he's only been in 2?
One?
You spoke in one, and then last night you were kind of there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he doesn't do the camera thing. He's trying to get rolling. He's got a couple irons in the fire he's looking at. No, it's a 15 with 324,000.
324 now.
I had a thermostat. I just about broke the bank fixing that thermostat.
Yep.
And that's something that I've touched on a few times. I've had 2 Duramaxes. Neither one of them ever made it over 200,000.
Doesn't mean they won't.
No. I'm not saying that Chevy or GMC is just a bucket of crap. But my personal experience was I had 2 of them fail under 200,000. It wasn't the end of the world. It was fuel system, but you know, a couple grand to get that fixed, and it was just a huge deterrent. And I wanted to give Ford a shot. You know, I kept hearing great things, seeing great things in all the forums. Jason, if you just joined in, that was something that was just covered, so quick recap. I am looking at doing a flatbed trailer where I do 2 or 3 units at a time, but I'm trying to make sure that the income increase would justify the cost of the trailer and the cost of getting everything reset up again.
I would agree with them on the Dodge and Ford thing, yes.
Yeah, you know, those of you that have been around a while, you know how much it hurts me to say that inside. But yeah, if you want to haul heavy things and use them for work, my personal opinion is Ford.
Most of them are closed.
Yeah, most rest areas are closed or limited parking, or they're trying to shut them down.
But they are trying to open some back up for trucks because, I mean, they even opened some in Arizona the other day that were, they've been closed for a decade or 2 or whatever they said, and they opened them back up just for parking right now. So they're opening some and closing some, and it just depends on the state.
Starting off right now, I give it a month or 2. The things and that gives you time to get your, if this is something you're really serious about, that gives you time to get your truck set up. I bought this truck in May, and I could not actually start working until August, and most of that was because I had to order all the parts, go through the hiring process, get everything set up, and then I wound up only waiting between May and August. I was actually only just sitting doing nothing for maybe 2.5 weeks. But there's a huge list of equipment you have to have for your truck, and obviously it's much cheaper to buy all that stuff online. You gotta wait for it to get shipped to your house, and then you have to find a way to have it installed and you know, get everything set up. And as you guys have seen in my older videos, I built my own bed frame after the mattress showed up. So if it's something you're really serious about, I would say go ahead and start the process now, because you're not going to get working until probably 3 months down.
And I'll add, it's an election year too, so we got that going.
Yeah. If you're going to do the 550, I will tell you right off the bat, they're going to require you to get an apportion plate, which is really expensive. But if you're getting hired on into their flatbed division, I'll double check with Chris, but I'm almost positive that they cover the apportion plates and they cover your IFTA. But if you have anything over a 1 ton, so a 350 or a 3500, given on whatever brand you're going into, you're required to do apportion and IFTA, which is a huge headache doing it by yourself. Yes, we do get fuel discount. So the way that works is, being a Horizon employee, you get an EFS card, and EFS has discounts all over the country. I've seen it as high as $1.20, $1.30 off per gallon. And there's an app that you download and you sync to your card that will allow you to look up all the prices, so you know exactly where to plan out your fuel route to get you that discount.
These are going to Fresno. I can't see their names on this side, so.
Gage, yeah, these ones are heading down to Fresno, to the Camping World, and they'll be redistributed at that point to one of the facilities that they have set up for these crisis centers. Yeah, I've heard from people that as far as getting the hauls into the States from Canada is kind of difficult. I will recommend a guy who's doing hot shot in Canada. It's Danger Industries. He does YouTube and Instagram. I've talked to him personally a few times. Seems like a great guy. Knows what he's doing. A little bit weird, kind of interesting videos, but definitely give him a check out. He seems like he knows what he's doing pretty well. I have hauled things besides campers. So the way it works, being a Horizon, well, not even a Horizon employee, being contracted under Horizon, um, uh, they have various loads that are not campers. I've done enclosed car hauler trailers. I've done boats. I've done RVs, and I know people who have done horse trailers. Yeah, I talk to him not often, but we do conversate. There we go. Perfect example, Chris. Dude's got a '01 Duramax with 540,000 miles on it, still running campers. They're not, like I said, I don't think that Chevy is junk. I've been a Chevy guy my whole life. I had two bad experiences back to back, and it kind of shied me away. I know guys that are over $1 million on their Duramax. Oh, I've toyed. I won't do cars. I don't think they pay enough. Um, I've considered freight, but with my medical stuff, doing tarps and throwing chains and binders, I'm not sure that's something I want to get into. I'm still looking at it, but I don't think that's a route I'm going to go. Yeah, so quick recap. I covered that a long time ago, and I've got a ton of subscribers since then. Basically, my spine is falling apart. Uh, Best guess is 12 years in a tank in the Marines. Just kind of wear and tear on the body. I've got some uh, discs that are falling apart and vertebrae that are not doing so hot. A few other issues, but that's the main one is the spine. Joe, my goal out of this truck is at least 500. Typically truck stops, yes. Most truck stops, like Love's, Flying J, they've got actual RV parking, which is where we're at right now. This is there's what, 7 or 8 spots right here
6, I think, yeah.
that are designated for RV parking, and then the semis are all over there.
Yes.
Right, Gage. I would say 500 is a reasonable goal. Like that's not. I'm not saying I'm going to get rid of it at 500, but that's my minimum goal. 1.6. What's going on, buddy? Ooh, would I rebuild or just get a new one?
New engine, probably.
Yeah, honestly, at that point, well, that all depends on what's going on with all the electronic stuff on the interior. So if I'm chasing gremlins on the interior, because it's got that sync and the adaptive cruise and the automatic this and scratch your back for you that and all that stuff. If I'm just fighting a bunch of issues with that, then no, I'll trade it out and get a new truck. But if things are holding up and it's just the engine and trans went, I'll probably just replace it. Oh, easy. a lot of people do this job with a 3/4 ton. Actually, Joe Lee's truck is a 3/4 ton.
I pull 14 to 15,000 pound fifth wheels all the time with my single wheel F350 short bar.
Yeah, there you go. What Chris just said.
The one right behind.
This guy right here. This is just a single wheel 1 ton, and him and I have run all the way across the country together with those Van Lays.
Those Van Lays, yeah, they're heavy.
I think he was tickling that limit of 26. He does have his CDL, but he's opting to not use it and not run an actual ELD box like I have. So he's capped at 26, right?
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay. I was mistaken.
Has nothing to do with ELD. Campers on the ground are 100% no ELD.
Awesome. One more time that the recruiters gave me bunk info.
Yeah. They try to say that, but it's not true.
Lease versus buy. You know what, Chris? Take that one. You've actually done the enterprise.
I get an enterprise lease, and it's hard to make it with single pole and leasing a truck because it's a lot of money. It's about, I mean, if you run 10,000 miles, just say it's about $2,300 a month, but you have no other costs, no other accumulating costs. You don't have to buy tires, you don't have to buy oil changes, you don't have to buy anything. So it's kind of it's one of those deals you just don't make enough, in my opinion, to make it worth it. I would say just buy a cheaper truck if you want to get into it, not lease, not for single pole. If you were going to do the flatbed that way, then yes, lease truck's fine.
And to jump on that, when I bought this truck, my goal was to actually do exactly what Tow Piglet and Dream Inspired are doing. The RV Transport was going to be a quick piggyback for me, and I stuck with it. It wound up paying better than I thought it was going to, and it's a lot less physical work than I thought it was going to be. So that's the other thing. If I were to get rid of this truck, I don't know that I would do another 450.
Not if you're doing singles, no.
Yeah. Which ELD box? Horizon as a whole uses Keep Trucking.
Somebody wants you to take their shirt off and show the nipple rings.
I don't have nipple rings, but that's my buddy Ryan from back home.
Okay.
Chevy Dad. That's him and I have been friends for a long damn time. Really, really close personal friend. And Nick Gurr. I'm not sure who you are, but shout out, man. Love you too, man. I'm still trying to get a load down to Coos Bay. Come say hi to you and everyone.
Goes away over here.
Again, this is my first time ever doing a live, so please bear with me on the growing pains.
What's the end? Nipples?
I think so. You can't say. He said you ain't got no nipples. Average maintenance cost on the 450. All right, so I did one set of tires at 97,000 miles for just over $1,200, mounted, balanced, installed. We'll let this semi go by. He went in the wrong entrance.
Delivering toilet paper.
And I average about one oil change a month. Right now I'm doing that through Ford because of my warranty. So it's more expensive than normal. I'm paying $130 for an oil change. Also about once a month you do an air filter. Once a month you're doing fuel filters. So $300 plus tires.
To answer the intercooler hose question is they do have problems with the intercooler hoses. But I got 324 on mine, and it's still
Right, and
factory.
from what I've seen with the issues with the intercooler hoses, it's people that are putting the tuners on and trying to pump
Yeah.
the boost.
Well, I have a tuner, but and my
Yeah, but
boost
you-
is up higher, but
Yeah, but you're not out there
No.
trying to roll coal.
no.
So, so far no issue on that, and from what I've been able to see looking online, is people that are running like edge tuners and stuff, and they're trying to crank the boost up and make it a performance truck. This thing is completely stock except for my auxiliary fuel tank in the back.
You don't want to pull full time with anything that's overstocked.
Nope.
That's where people run into a lot of problems.
Ask Toe Piglet why he put a new motor in his dog.
Yep. Well, I can tell you,
So that's the thing. Like if you're gonna do this, don't touch the truck. Leave it alone.
2000. Answer to that question, Bill True, is 2000. That's what our company will accept.
Okay. There's another one. They told me it had to be a.
They say 5 years or older,
Yeah.
but they will take up to a 2000 as long as you send pictures in and the truck is in good shape. You can't pull up there and
Okay, so
you know, a
it's
rust bucket. And,
5 years old with exceptions.
yes, 5 years with exceptions.
I carry 96 gallons. How many gallons do you?
Oh, 60.
60.
Yeah, I'm a
60
short
total?
box though. Yeah.
60
No, not
total.
60 total, just 60 auxiliary and 24 main tank. So
So
84.
84. So we're right about the same. I'm 96. He's 84. And I only once have ever ran out of fuel during a day, and that was pulling a 40-something foot fifth wheel with a headwind through Nebraska and Wyoming.
Adam, yes, you do have to get your own insurance. It's they call it bobtail insurance, and it's about double the price of what you'd pay on a normal daily driving rig. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's right about.
I mean, maybe 3 times, depending
Give or
on.
take a little
yeah.
on your driving record.
Yep. Yeah.
There was a time in my life where I was paying more for a Geo Metro than I'm paying now.
You pay for how much your truck is worth, also. So.
Right.
You know, if your truck's a $30,000 truck, you're going to be paying a little less than a guy with a $60,000 truck.
Yes.
So, like I pay I think it's $325. I don't mind saying it.
Yeah, and mine's 345 on the
Yeah,
deposit.
so it ain't much difference, but I missed that last question.
So lease trucks can have auxiliary tanks. However, you are going to forfeit some of your damage waiver. And this is not a lease truck. He owns this one. He had a 17 Ford.
Yeah, I had a 17.
He had a 17 Ford that was leased. He gave that up to buy this one.
I wanted to try the 6.7 before I actually purchased one.
That's actually a really good move.
Because I've been 7.3 old Power Stroke guy all my life, and no, that's not true. We have a lot of employees, or a lot of contractors from Michigan.
Yeah, the company we use doesn't care where
It
you live.
doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter at all.
That is in the works. You and I talk a lot. You know I'm really considering that. I'm looking at a Magnuson. Yeah, I've been talking to transmission shops and probably looking at doing a full engine rebuild and new trans with a Magnuson on that. We'll see.
That'd be hard to answer that completely without calling them, but you can't have any DUIs.
Right.
You can't have any major your fault accidents.
And that's within a time span. You and I were talking last night.
Yeah.
Collectively, over my life, I have somewhere close to 30 tickets. But those were when I was a teenager. And I got like...
No DUI, no reckless driving, things like that, they will not accept you. I missed that.
So your record clears every 5 years, 7 years?
Yeah, unless you have a CDL.
Right. So that was all way before my CDL days, and I was young, dumb, and an idiot, and Chevy Dad was there for most of those tickets. Washington.
I missed that one.
It would be rough. You're gonna be depends where in Washington. Are you northwest, southeast? I like the Pro Charger, but if I'm gonna do a supercharger on it, I want that Magnuson wine. They're fast trucks, but they're not the fastest thing on the street. So I personally don't care that the Pro Charger gives better performance. I want it to sound the part in the Magnuson shrieks.
And I'm gonna say something about that Washington question.
Okay.
There's always loads going to Washington.
There is.
Always. Summertime it's a little harder to get to Washington.
He's in the Seattle area.
Yeah, I mean, there's always loads going to Seattle, and even out of Idaho and the Oregon area.
So it would be so like for me, I have a yard right by my. I have several yards right by my house, so it's easy there for me. But then I'm away from home. You would have to deadhead to the load, but it'd be really easy for you to bounce around and then get a load home. South Texas. I have never set foot in Texas, so.
There's a lot of loads going to Texas, yes. I missed the question.
Is South Texas a good area?
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot going to
loads to come home. We have an app, and I just get on the app and decide where I want to go based on what's gonna be most cost effective given where I am. I got it through the military. I can speak for Idaho. I don't know about every other state, but because I had a license for a 7-ton, which has air brakes and all of that stuff, and I had a license authorizing me up to 144 tons. I got a waiver through DMV, and I just had to take the written test.
I'll take Herb G's question. The answer to that question is really simple. Yeah, you can get in and out. I'm doing it right now. But people misunderstand that. It's the EPA that looks for it here, not the scales. So even if you pulled through the scales, unless the EPA's sitting there testing trucks, then you're going to be okay. If that makes sense.
You talking about Manny's movements? I think it was a 348. I don't remember the name of the form exactly. It was almost 2 years ago that I got it.
I missed the last question.
Brian just said that Manny would know about Texas.
Oh.
And I think he's talking about Manny's movements. He's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of RVs going to Texas.
He's not an RV transporter, so I'm not sure how.
We have a lot going to Tyler, San Antonio area. We have a lot of units going to Texas.
Oh, wife's here.
Uh-oh. Yours?
Yep.
Oh, no. Busted.
Oh, I've actually never heard of that channel. I'll have to look him up. Manny, Life of an RV Transporter. I'll have to remember that.
I think I've seen a couple of his videos, actually.
I don't know. I may have. I've looked at so many RV transport guys.
Yeah, I have too. You're the only cool one, though.
RV auxiliary tanks in bed or underneath. The other video showing the the aux tank is in almost every one of my videos. It's the giant. I got the auxiliary tank toolbox combo, so it almost touches my fifth wheel hitch, and it's in the bed, and then it gravity feeds into the main tank.
Watchers, thanks for that.
Yeah, we're at 22. Let's I know there's over 1,000 of you subscribed. Let's get this up a little bit. I really enjoy this. I think I like this more than the normal videos I do.
Except for I'm not going to be in all of them.
Well, that'll make it better. Oh, good. Ryan and the wife are arguing about the Viper truck. From what I'm hearing, all manufacturers are shut down, but they're supposed to open back up. Was it April or May 27th?
I'm not sure. I didn't read that one yet.
Okay. So right now we're pumping out the things that they have already produced, and we're waiting for them to open back up. So for now we're running, but I think that in the not too distant future, it's going to slow down a lot.
And as far as that air fifth wheel question, I've never used one personally. I don't know if you have.
Oh, you're talking like the Shocker? And the Harley. I have a 2018 Street Glide Special. Over in the east, the loads are still doing good. Out here in the west, they're slowing down a lot.
And we only have like 13.
Yeah, there's well under 20 in the west, but we're, what did you say, 500 and something
506 when I looked earlier.
in the east. So at this point, it's looking like as soon as I drop this tomorrow, I'm just gonna run empty all the way east. Not ideal, but if there's nothing over here, gotta go where the money is.
Yeah.
Yep. We've been keeping our distance from each other most of the time.
Except when he
Occasionally,
hugs me.
what happens at night, no one needs to know about that.
And yeah, we got our own type of cabin fever.
We have camper fever.
Camper fever.
Yes, those shows
As
do
long
keep
as
us
they
real busy.
go. As long as we
if they're
have
not
them.
shut down.
Yes.
Who is with me? It's Chris and Jolie. That's Chris's truck, for those of you who just recently jumped in, and you all know the Streetwalker the camera's sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I've seen a couple of their videos.
Yeah, we've been in a couple of videos, yes.
Would I recommend leasing on with Horizon? Yes. Would I recommend doing it right now? No. But like I said earlier, if this is something you're really serious about, like, okay, I want to haul campers for a living, then start working on it now. Because you're looking at least 2 months before you would get hired on anyway, which is pretty close to what it'll take for you to get your truck, get all your hitches that are required, go through the hiring process, because they give you a list of everything you need. And I just ordered it all online and waited for it to come in.
We are in Ripon, California. Ripon.
Ripon?
Ripon, something like that. And as far as the heating going through the hills, negative. These trucks cool really good.
Yeah, what he said.
Yes, it's a very bad time.
Yeah. Yeah, now is not a good time. It's if you are not set up at all, like I was when it was time for me to make this jump, and I didn't even own a truck, much less any of the equipment to do this. It's a great time to get started.
If you're doing single poles on that next question, F350 or F250 is plenty enough truck.
Yeah. If you're gonna do single poles, like if I stay in single poles and I decide not to go flatbed, I'm probably gonna buy a 250 just because you don't need anything more than that. But if you're going to look at doing flatbed, then I would say at least a 450.
Yes, you can haul them part-time. A lot of people do that. They only require you, they ask you to run at least one load a month. So if you want to just do it as a part-time gig after retirement, like you say, yes, absolutely. We have a lot of drivers that do that. And sometimes they don't even work in the winter, and they just ask you to call in and let them know you're still working, but you're just not gonna right now.
As far as I know, every load is by the mile, not a daily amount.
Never a daily amount. Yep.
Okay, so everything's by the mile.
Yep.
Awesome. You got the 450.
It'll work.
I love it, and the only thing that would make me even consider doing it again is the wide track front end. What is the flatbed? So the flatbed division is you remove the bed from your truck, so now you're legally a tractor, which means you can go over the length law. You can get a 53-foot trailer and you're fine, and you can haul 2 or 3 units at a time. Yes, the street walker is sexy.
So is the lady of the night.
Yes, yes. A new addition to the channel, the lady of the night.
It's just old.
Yes, you have to have your own trailer for flatbed. Which is the only reason I haven't done it right now, because those trailers are used, they're close to 20. I've seen a couple of them that were less, but at that point you gotta wonder how beat up are they, and they're 24 to 26,000 brand new. A 3500 Dodge Dually. You're gonna be working it. You're gonna be pushing the limits of that truck.
With the bed on, 65 feet is the maximum length you can be.
Now, doing single pulls, we're exempt from that because I've pulled trailers that were combination well over 65.
Yeah, RVs don't
Right.
count. But
if you're doing the flatbed division,
he was asking before
Right.
you delete the bed, yeah. And no, we don't run CBs. We use Zelo off cell phone service.
it's kind of like a CB,
Kinda.
but less effective.
Yeah, especially in dead zones.
So Zelo, it's basically just like a CB. You open the app, and you push a button just like you're squeezing the thing on the CB handle.
They call it push to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, PTT. I didn't catch that last one.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna be working that truck hard. So yeah, it's doable, but you're gonna be really pushing the limits of that truck. Yeah, kind of. It is a lot like the old Nextel. Oh God, what I used to be a Nextel rep. What do they call that? Direct Connect.
Verizon's the best on the road, hands down.
Yeah.
They have the most coverage
Yes.
everywhere.
Uh,
I don't know if that's what they
So-
were asking.
there we go. Since that was kind of brought up, ish, by me, I have a very broad work history. I was a radio DJ. I was a preschool teacher. I worked in lumber yards. I did construction. I did roofing. I did Alaskan fishing. I worked for Nextel and a couple other little jobs here and there. Worked at a plywood mill, and then decided that I would join the military. And then from that, I came over to Horizon. Yes, I saw that Sprint and T-Mobile are going to combine. I'm hoping that improves. I have Sprint, so I'm hoping that will improve my. Oh, that sucks.
I couldn't hear what they said.
There, all these trucks that are parked down this road. No parking. You will be towed.
Wow, California. You're welcome.
Yeah, I've actually never seen a truck stop do that.
Yeah, especially during this time.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Probably
awesome.
half of these guys are FEMA, and they're just out of hours on their ELD. But oh no, go move.
Unless somebody's parked right in the road or something.
All right, we got 26 in here, and you know I'm sorry that this is so late at night. So yeah, why are we late, Chris?
Somebody picked up the wrong camper.
So when they started all these FEMA loads, they told us that you may get dispatched on a unit and show up and the VIN number is different. We showed up to the yard and I had a trailer. It was one digit was wrong on the VIN, and I've had that happen probably 3 or 4 times. I just call them up and, hey, I'm here to pick up the unit. The VIN number is different. Da 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 da. I get a new BOL. Everything's good. And that one was tagged transfer, which you can't really see in the dark, but they have a piece of tape that they've written transfer, so you know it's one of the FEMA loads that's getting transferred. And it was one digit different on the VIN number. So I assumed that was my unit, which is my bad. You shouldn't do that. But between getting the email from Horizon saying that may happen and seeing the transfer tag and being one digit off on the VIN, I grabbed it and we took off. Woke up this morning, called my dispatcher to verify. That wasn't my unit. So I had to go all the way back to Camping World, which is why you saw that picture this morning of the forklift dropping that camper behind my truck. And so by the time I got there, sat there for an hour and a half, and then got the new trailer hooked up, and then came back. That kind of delayed our departure by like 3 hours.
To answer Bill True's question, yeah, you can bring pets all you want. As far as passengers, you're supposed to get a release form, and that's any trucking company. You're supposed to get a release form from the company to have a passenger, and they ask that you only do that once a year. But a lot of people do it all the time, and they don't seem to throw a fit.
Where will those guys park? That's the terrible thing about these truck stops is the people that are working security don't care. They don't care that you're ELD, and they don't care that you're out of hours for the day and legally you cannot move that truck. They don't care.
Well, these are the highway patrol, though.
Oh, was it highway patrol?
Yeah, it was highway patrol. So they're just.
So it's the guys who enforce the law.
They're just being Californians.
Able to find parking. Most of the time, it's really easy to find parking. Every once in a while, you'll get into an area where it's rough. Yes, babe. At least we didn't go far.
600 whole miles.
No, with the wrong trailer.
Oh. I thought she was being facetious.
Wife or girlfriend, it still applies. Chris and Jolie are a little bit different scenario because Jolie is a
We're both
Horizon.
leased,
Yeah,
so.
Jolie is leased on with Horizon as well. She just doesn't have her truck with her right now.
Yes, to the wife also. I mean,
Yeah.
that's any passenger, and they have to be above 18.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I was going to.
That's DOT stuff too.
I was
This isn't.
gonna bring my kids.
Yeah, no.
Something else I wanted to touch on because it was brought up by one of you in last night's video. I had thought about it and I knew about it, but I've never talked about it. So when you get new tires, you will find inside your driver's side door jamb, it tells you what kind of hour or what kind of pressure you're supposed to have in your tires. That's on the tires. Thank you, CHP.
Actually, that's the police. I lied.
That's for the tires that come factory on the truck. When I got the new tires, or whenever you get new tires, those tires are going to have a specific rating on them. So, don't worry about your tag at that point, worry about what the tire says. Now, with that being said, I am new to the 19.5s. I've always had normal size tires and typically had some form of race car, so I had less tire pressure than what is recommended because traction. I saw the rating on the 19.5s that I took off that came on the truck, and it said 110, and I aired them up to 110, and the next time I went in for an oil change, the dealership knocked it back down to 80. I put it back to 110, the next time they knocked it back down to 80. So at that point, I went, okay, these are supposed to be 80 and not 110. We lost signal. Are we back?
No,
Are we back? I think we're back. So, alright, awesome. Thanks, Jason. So, when Les Schwab told me they put these tires at 80, I assumed being a tire shop, they knew what they were doing. They are now at 105, just because I didn't want to take them all the way up to the max. And that wiggle is completely gone. These tires are planted, and I absolutely love these Ironman tires. Now, as long as they last a decent amount of mileage, I will buy them again, hands down. The
Bill,
release. Is the release good for a year?
I'm not sure. I can't answer that correctly, so
Okay.
I don't even want
I
to.
think I heard somewhere it's every trip.
I thought it was too. I know when I used to drive truck for another guy, he made me do it every time I brought a passenger. So, and that is a DOT thing. That's not just Horizon. That's a
Right.
DOT thing. That's why they enforce it.
Yes, you can do drive away and tow away.
Yes.
If you're a drive away driver, you can't do tow away, but if you're a tow away driver, you can do drive away.
Wrong. You can do both either way. I've taken plenty of drive-aways, vice versa.
Okay.
Well, no. I see what you're saying. Yeah, you gotta have a truck and
Right.
you gotta have it leased to the company, but you can still do both.
When they said move your truck, I don't think that's what they meant. All right, let's see how that goes.
And yes, you can sleep in the motorhomes. And no, they ask you not to sleep in the fifth wheels or campers, but they ask you not to. So take it how you will.
Never trust a tire shop for proper inflation.
Especially-
Absolutely, Ken.
Especially Les Schwab.
No, he didn't move it 5 feet. He was parked out on the street, and he's now in the car parking, taking up, I don't know, 15, 20 spots.
Thank you, Chris Hyde. We try.
Oh, I missed one?
He just said good
Oh.
info. And we will try to stay safe out here.
Yeah, define
A lot
safe.
less traffic.
Wife agreed with you on something. That's scary.
Oh no. Oh, I said,
Oh, the Les Schwab.
especially Les Schwab.
Yeah, my brother-in-law works for Les Schwab.
I'm sorry.
It used to be a great company. Back in the back days.
So did Swift. Just saying. Actually, I don't think they ever were. But I had to say something. No bueno.
All these trucks moving all over.
That guy hasn't moved yet.
No, I really like this live video. Not gonna be something I do every day all the time, but being as we're only an hour and a half, 2 hours from our drop, not trying to hurry up and get to sleep because typically the instant my 10 hours is up, I'm rolling. Chris doesn't do that.
No.
Chris is kind of one of those, whenever I get up and I run my 11, and it works for him. One of these days I will listen to it and probably start doing it.
No, it don't matter. You pick your own ways of doing this job. I mean, everybody's different. Some people get up at 4 in the morning. Some people get up at noon. I think I just used us as.
All right, guys, it's 11:30 in the morning. I've completed my 11 hours.
Well, it depends on what time zone I'm in too. You know, I mean, if I get up at 8 here, that's still what 11 back in Indiana. So.
But today is one of those days that I'm absolutely not doing my 10 hours, just because if we were to do 10 and then roll, we'd be sitting at the gate waiting for them to open in the morning. So I have time to come on live and spend more than 10 minutes making a video and uploading it. I can actually interact with you guys, which I really like. I really like this more than the normal videos I do. Hey, there's nothing wrong with getting up at noon, Bill. I was one of those guys. I never did noon, but I'd sleep till like 8 or 9. And then after 12 years of being told to get up and by 5 a.m. you're running until you throw up, you just kind of get used to being up early.
Pretty much the hours I run is noon to midnight. I find that it's the best time for me to run.
Well, Bill, that depends on the time of year. In the winter, you definitely don't want to run at night.
Yeah.
And in the summer, I prefer running at night. If I can get my cycle set up where, I take off at 9 or 10 at night, I'm happy. Because it's cooler to drive, the roads are safe, and there's less traffic, and now that an amazing friend of mine gave me WeatherTech shades, my truck is not unbearable.
James Rath asked how far. You were saying 500,000.
Yeah, my goal is 500, and at that point, based on how the rest of the truck is handling, I don't know. I may just pop a new motor and trans in it when it goes. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Bill, true. That's the beauty of this job. To be honest, you pick your own times. It doesn't matter. You can run.
Yep.
Any times you want.
You pick your own loads. You take all the time off you want.
Yep.
Perfect example. I started in August, and me and the wife had planned a week-long vacation. We had already sent a couple grand into getting everything set up for the vacation when I was still active, and I had no intention of getting out before I was forced out medically. And I started this job, and within 2 weeks, I just called my dispatcher and said, "Hey, I'm not quitting, but I'm taking a week off because I have this set up," and they don't care as long as you run that one load a month. I want to run to Texas. I have not yet. Chris, that's you, DC.
What did I do? Well, there's around Christmas time, I ran all the way up till Christmas. and then there's usually a slow time in the beginning of January through January most of the time, and then in the middle of the year, like June, July, it slows down quite a bit because that's when the new models come out. You know, the next year models. So they have to do all their retooling and whatever they have to do at the manufacturers. So that's about the only times, really. I mean, this year's going to be a little.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think
see.
it's going to be a little different, but election year on top of this virus thing going on. So
The Fu Manchu.
yeah, so we don't know what this year's going to bring yet.
How does getting paid work?
You get
So-
paid. Oh, go ahead.
So you show up to the dealership or the person's house or wherever you're taking the unit, and you have your BOL, and they do a walk-around inspection, make sure you didn't destroy the unit in some way, shape, or form. They sign the BOL, you sign the BOL. If it's a dealership, you also have a dealer acceptance form, and then any permits or toll roads you had to go through, you take pictures of all of that paperwork, and you upload it through the app. And depending what time of the day you upload it, you're paid within a couple hours or the next morning, unless it's a Friday that you upload it, like Friday after 5 Indiana time, then you'll get paid on Monday.
And to add to that, I didn't hear you say it, but you get paid 50% up front, and then you get paid 50% on delivery.
Yes, that is an option.
Yes.
Unless it's one of the really, really expensive loads, then you only get $1,000 up front.
Yeah, if it's over $1,000, then you only get 1,000. But if, say, you were in the middle of your load and you broke down or something like that, and you needed an extra $500, they'll give it to you.
Does it pay on a card? I'm not sure if you were here in the beginning when I talked about the EFS card where you get the fuel discount. It's paid onto that card, and then you can sync that to your personal bank account and wire transfer the money to your personal account, or leave it on that. So what I do is I keep enough on my EFS card to run the next load, and everything else goes into my personal account.
No, I do not have a YouTube channel. I just used his.
Easy Pass for tolls or cash
They recommend that you get Easy Pass.
if you're running that area.
If you're running a lot in the east, it's best.
I personally don't have an Easy Pass.
I don't
but
either.
I've gone out that way maybe 3 times.
It's not that hard to stop at the tolls and pay
Yeah.
them and
Unless you're going through Pennsylvania
get
and
an
Ohio.
instant receipt. Yeah.
So, I actually I didn't know that people don't know this. When you go west, there is no toll road. I've talked to a few people that only run on the east, and they're like, "What do you mean there's no toll road?" I'm like, "Well, there's no toll road. Like we don't have tolls."
Yes, you get paid back for. If you go east, you get paid back for both directions. If you're going west, there's only a few tolls, but you get paid for your when you're loaded.
Illinois is the only one.
Yeah, Illinois, it's like $1,
$2.
$2, whatever.
I usually don't even put that one in my
I don't
because they
either.
don't want to give you a receipt. It's a hassle. I'm like, it's $2.
It's $2. It's not gonna break a rich guy like you.
What's a toll road? Well, over in the east, they have this thing where they charge you to drive on the highways that they're supposed to use to make the highways not crap. But that doesn't happen. So I really don't know the purpose of a toll road, but it's not being used for its intended purpose.
It's just another way for the state to make more money, and lots of it.
Yeah, see? There you go. He lives in Oregon. I never saw a toll road until I
Yeah.
went to California, and those are only on like certain expressways. And
Yeah, it's optional more in
Yeah.
California than it is
Yeah, they
over
split
east. It's so hard to not take them most of the time.
yeah, you
that-
wind up in a freaking twisty back road in West Virginia.
Yeah, yeah.
That was awful.
I don't know of any toll roads in Colorado
There's one.
that you have to take though. Like that's.
No, it's
Isn't
on.
it just a-
It's not on 95 South.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I think it's 95.
25.
25. 25 South.
If 95 all of a sudden made it to Colorado, we got issues.
Yes, Florida has it. Almost everything east of, say, Illinois-ish.
Yeah.
I think even the southern states have it. Like
Yeah,
Georgia, Alabama.
There's none in Georgia that you have to use, like to go to Florida, for instance.
Okay.
There's one toll bridge in Kentucky. You know, just the bridge costs you $7 or whatever.
I've never seen a toll road in Oklahoma. I've gone through there a couple times.
Yeah, there is.
I just have never seen it.
Oh no, yeah, I-44. Sorry, the I-44 turnpike. That's $20 to get across.
It lets those who are using the road pay for the road. Yes, it lets us. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, Dallas does have a lot of tolls.
Yeah, I have seen it where the express toll road is slower than the normal road.
Yeah.
See, that's what happens when you get a herd mentality. Everyone goes one way and it jams it up. What's going on, Mark? Yeah, you can. I know a lot of guys that don't have four-wheel drive. Yards in Iowa, I don't think so.
Not.
You'll get, dealer transfers or personal movements.
We have that one in like where we picked up the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, but it's not really our
It's
yard.
not our yard.
It's just it's a place where we commonly pick up, but it's not ours.
Well, glad I gave you a little entertainment tonight, since you're probably locked in your house. Yeah, so as far as Iowa, we have that one, and it's kind of like a contract thing with the van lays. They get painted in Iowa. What is that? Iowa Falls? Iowa. Cedar Falls.
No.
It's something Falls. Something Falls, Iowa. Anyway, they get painted up there in Iowa, and then they get moved to wherever dealership is selling them.
And they come from Louisiana.
Is that down in Davenport that I'm talking about?
No, it's north of Davenport.
No, the Streetwalker does not have air ride. She is completely stock except for the auxiliary tank in the bed. Sioux Falls.
No.
No.
I'm looking at that because it just skipped my mind.
And now it's one of those things like I must know the answer. There is no reason, but I have to know the answer.
I guess I went to the right state of it, huh?
Cedar Rapids?
No. Oh wow.
It's just
Forest City.
Forest City.
Yeah.
That's it. It's close.
Forest City,
Falls,
Iowa.
whatever.
It's up by Clear Lake, just south of Albert Lea, Minnesota.
There's not really in Texas. I mean, there's a lot of loads moving around in there, like dealership wise, but we don't have a yard there.
No yards there.
So the yards are Oregon, Idaho, California, and Indiana. Everything else is just dealer transfers or someone who bought a unit and needs it moved or whatever. There's one yard in California? Two.
We have 2 or 3 down in Southern California.
Yeah, Hemet area.
Yeah, Hemet, and then we have one. Yeah, I don't know the names, but I don't pull out of there very often.
I think there's 2. I think I've picked up at both of them.
There might only be 2.
Then there's 3 in Oregon, and
my knowledge, yes. You nailed it.
No. They require, diesel's required.
Diesel is required.
So you're a
25,
yeah.
2500 F250 is.
Yeah, so a 3/4 ton is fine.
Three-quarter ton is what they have to have.
I've only got 4,000 miles on the Ironman, so far they're great. Now they're actually airing up to the proper pressure.
Yeah, half ton won't do it. They won't allow that.
Typically you're getting into Texas. A haul out is hard, which is why I've never been there.
There's a lot of moves in Texas,
Yeah.
though, like you were saying.
I see a lot of stuff going into Texas and then moves around in Texas, but never anything going out, which is why I haven't been there yet. Roy and Becky's Travels.
We have Funtown's contract down there, so anything Funtown down there, we deliver.
Oh, wait, I know nothing about Funtown, so that's
Yeah.
you.
No, I was just letting them know, the Texas guys, they know all about Funtown, I'm sure. It's like our Camping World everywhere else.
Yes, but you have to have that weird hitch.
Are we talking about the slider one?
Yeah.
They actually require you to have a slider and a short bed. So the answer to that question is yes.
It pulls a little bit more. When I bought the truck, the reason was, yeah, sure, a couple thousand extra pounds, great, but I really wanted the wide track front end and I wanted the 19.5 tires. So that was why I got the 450.
And he wanted to look sweet right rolling down the road.
I mean, I do get the front fender flare.
And he wanted to blind me every time he rides behind me.
You said they're not bad.
Yeah, but I lied. Tried to make you feel good. They're stupid bright.
You just didn't want to be in the back.
Oh, I don't ever follow. If you eat first,
Yes, bigger brakes. It does have bigger brakes, which I've used.
you eat first, you're last.
I've never had a new. I mean, this is the first time I've ever owned a Ford, and it's brand new. So to compare it to my 2007 Chevy, not really fair. I've never owned a Dodge, except the Viper truck, which doesn't count.
That was just the daytime running lights.
Yeah. So what they fixed was the C bracket that goes around the headlight. People were saying those were too bright. So if you go and you look at my older videos, you'll see when I had those just the C bracket lights on, they were really bright compared to the newer videos where they turn them down without me saying to.
Long bed, long bed's the best, just because you have more room.
Yeah.
And then also when you're towing fifth wheels, if you don't use the slider part of the fifth wheel, you run the risk of running into your cab with the front of the fifth wheel. So long bed, I would definitely recommend. I bought a short bed because that's the truck I found.
I have not heard of one. I mean, to put it into perspective, this thing is rated at 34,500 on the fifth wheel.
And mine's at like 32.5, so
Yeah.
that's an example.
And I got
right
a couple years of technology ahead
Yeah.
of you for the towing.
Yeah. No,
So
the 45 feet I think is the longest toy hauler I've seen.
Yeah.
But they're empty. I mean, you got to
Yeah.
understand they're all empty. So
Unless you're hauling them for people.
yeah, unless you're hauling them for people, yeah. But we'll stay away from that as much as you can. But no, you can pull almost anything we have with an F350 or 450.
Yeah, the worst one I've seen was like 19,000
Yeah, yeah. I've seen 20,000 GVW on the board. I've never taken one personally.
Right,
but
and that's the GVWR,
that's the
not the
GVW.
actual
Yeah,
weight.
that's the actual GVWR. So
no, I can't think of any RV in the world that, unless you're talking about like a Lux,
yeah, like something.
because they have ones that are designed for semis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to answer that, no, you can pull it with anything.
Mine's a 430. Yours is a
73.
373.
I'm not governing 88 miles an hour.
I am. But it doesn't matter because the speed limit for Horizon is 65.
That's right. So I've never even tried it. I might be governed at 88. I've never gone over that.
I mean, I've gone to that point when I'm empty. So
Yeah.
when I'm empty, I don't care about your 65. I'm going to speed limit.
Yeah. Nevada says about 106.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Maybe that was a highway number. I don't know.
Do they monitor your speed?
No.
Kinda. The Keep Trucking app does monitor when you started at a point and when you ended at a point, so they can average your speed based on that.
Yours.
No, they don't. They don't track you. Again, the ELD has the ability to monitor every time you make a change to your duty status. So when we left from Mill City, Nevada, so it showed me starting driving there, and then it showed me checking in here when I went from driving status to on duty for my post-trip inspection. So it shows what time I left Mill City and what time I got here to Ripon.
Rip-on. I call it rip-off.
But as far as tracking, no, they don't track you. So they'll see the time that I left and the time I got here.
No, there's no tracking devices or anything like that.
Now, I've heard Texas has some pretty good speed limits. No, I don't think you're really going to get in too much trouble with that, Ken.
All of California is 55.
The seats were why I started looking at Ford. And then once I determined that I was going to get a Ford, I moved into the 450 for the Y-Track and the 19.5s because, again, I was going to do hot shot and flatbed. I have heard, I haven't experienced it yet, but I have heard that Ford does have that front end.
Well, to answer that, DC, in an 02, you got a whole different front end. I mean, they have
That's true.
they have leaf springs up front. They do wander. 02s are terrible. I got 324,000 on mine, on the one right behind him, and the truck drives like a dream. It needs one steering component that makes it a little bit sloppy, but other than that, I mean, it's nothing like an 02, I promise you that. My wife's last truck was an 02, and that was a tank to keep on the road.
I'm using both lanes. I pay taxes on both.
That's right.
That sounds bad. Oh, someone's taking their 30 at the fuel island.
Yeah, anything with the coil springs up front is going to drive way better.
I originally wanted a Dodge because they are. I already know your answer. I got this question. I originally wanted a Dodge because they are a lot cheaper. But when I got into the RV transport forums and I got into the hot shop forums, and looking around on the internet, I was seeing constant death issues, constant transmission issues, constant rear end issues, and my personal favorite, the turbo fires.
And the transfer cases, because they're always spinning up front.
Right, and you can't disengage the front end, so the T cases were going out. Whereas both of us have locking hubs, we can unlock it or put it into automatic mode, so the push button thing activates it. As far as what was causing the turbo fires, I don't know. What I've heard from some people is that Dodge was overrating their trucks and saying we could haul 37,000 pounds or whatever it was. So people would do that, and they were getting the turbos too hot trying to actually pull that weight, and it would cause it to fire. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I was able to gather. I don't know.
Tim Turner, yeah, they do. Some of them do get death wobble. There's no doubt about that. But you just fix them and
Yeah.
keep running them. I mean,
Yeah, it's like the bushing thing.
yeah, it's just a few things get worn and then they start doing that.
Better than a Chevy where the tire rod just falls off.
Yeah, it's fixable. I mean, it's a yard close to Texas.
Indiana?
Indiana's the closest thing you got there, Mark. Bill True, to answer that question, me personally, no, I wouldn't own a Dodge. I do own a Jeep, but I wouldn't own a Dodge pickup.
I own a Dodge pickup, but for a very specific reason.
I'm not going to say they're bad, though. I'm not going to say that
No.
at all. I've never even owned one. So.
No, I've never owned one either. I know people that have and they love them. I
Yep.
know people that have and I can't believe I hate this flipping truck. You know, just like I don't think all Duramaxes are awful. I had two of them and they were both garbage. That doesn't mean they're all. I don't. Just like I don't remember who it was. The guy just said he has 500,000 on his. They're not. No company has all good or all
No,
bad.
that's right.
It's what your personal experience is and what you want to get out of it. Like I said, for me, it was the massaging seat that sold me on Ford, just because of my personal issues, and I was kind of looking at dealing with it just to save $30,000 to get the Dodge instead of this, but after seeing the issues I was seeing online, and again, it's not no one's gonna post their good experience. So you're gonna see the bad from everything, because that's just kind of the way the world is now. Where
Bill True, that's entirely up to you. It can range from a lot to a little. I mean, depending on what you already own. You know, you have to have, what would you say, $1,000 worth of stuff, roughly.
I went a little bit more.
You can go. That's what I'm saying. You can go above, or you could go less, because you don't have to have an auxiliary tank.
No.
There's
No.
things you don't have to have, but you have to have a full width mud flap, which is $100. I mean,
Yeah.
really $500 if you own the truck.
Yeah, if
I
you
think-
already have a truck, bare minimum, because you don't have to have a fifth wheel.
You don't have to, but you can also buy them pretty cheap for $300 or so.
I would say bare minimum, you could piece everything together for $1,000.
Yep. Anywhere from 5 to 1,000, I would say.
No, and DC, like we're not saying that Dodges are.
No,
Neither one of us have ever owned a Cummins.
no.
I go off. I can go off what I saw from multiple people online, but like I said, people are going to post the negative. Not many people are going to be like, I went 500,000 miles and I had no flaws. That, you know, you're not.
Yeah,
gonna
we're
see a whole lot
we're
of
not bashing on any trucks, because you know what?
Fords have their problems. Chevys have their problems.
all
Dodge
have-
has their problems.
I think Ford has come a long way since, of course, the 6-liter and the 6.4. You know, I mean, which was an international engine, but Ford builds theirs now, and I just think they really built a really good engine now. I mean,
Yeah. I have seen minimal complaints about the 6.7, except for you have to take the cab off to do any real work.
they do with a Chevy too.
True.
But no, there's a lot of guys out here, DC, running Dodges, and they love them. So,
James, I've actually done 2 of those videos. One of them is titled, "Do you have an old truck, put it to work," or something like that. It has a picture of my Duramax for the thumbnail. And the other one was It was a picture of the interior of the Streetwalker, and it was titled something along the lines of "She's back to stock."
Is that the one that shows all your stuff?
You know, everything on a pile on the backboard.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's one of the first ones.
No, that was just recent. That was when I got
Oh yeah,
my windshield.
when you got your windshield, yeah. Yeah, that would be a very knowledgeable video to watch if you wanted to kind of know.
The one of you have an old truck, put it to work.
Yeah.
I really went over everything in that one. I think that was a better video. Bare minimum, you need a bumper pull hitch, you need a full width mud flap, a fire extinguisher, a first aid kit, and then DOT requires fuses and
Torque wrench,
Yeah, you torque wrench, tire pressure gauge, jack, definitely a jack.
like a bottle jack or
Yeah.
any kind of jack.
Um,
Did you say fire extinguishers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hazard signs.
no, your triangles, your road triangles,
Road triangles, yeah.
like the YMCA.
And you said hitch and mud flap.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
that's
about all
really
you need. I mean, really, you could do it for $500 if you tried.
Yeah.
You could.
Well, the weight distribution hitch is more expensive.
Well, that's not entirely true. I mean,
Yeah, you use
mine's a Harbor Freight one. I bought it at Harbor Freight for like $200, and it's been working for 3 years. I mean, I can't say that
So yeah, $500-600.
$500-600 you could do it, Bill, for sure. I think that was Bill's question. Yeah.
No, not honey jack. That's for when you're doing your 34.
Or is it?
Yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to cutting this video too. We're an hour and a half into this.
87 minutes. But they're having fun.
No, I really am loving it. I like this more than my normal videos. But, you know, an hour and a half to do this live video. Normally I'm about an hour to do my normal videos by the time I get them uploaded and everything. Yes, I will definitely be doing this again, James. I wanted to do it this way the first time just because I had Chris here to give me a hand as far as keeping an eye on things and helping out with everything. Now that I kind of know how it all works, because like I said, this is the first time I've ever gone live on YouTube. Instagram was really easy to go live. You push a button, it's right there, and you can see the comments and everything.
With the clamps, they really don't scratch the trailer frame. I used to put rags underneath them, but they don't care anyways. They touch up the tongues and all that stuff when they get the new trailers.
All right, good night, James. Have a good one, man.
And Herb.
Herb's out too. Night, Herb. Yes, when you get married, you definitely had honey jack at the wedding. A lot of it.
Yeah, they recommend that, Bill. They recommend that you have a printer. It's not. That used to be mandatory. Did they say that you
They did
had?
say it was mandatory.
Okay.
They didn't check for it, but they said I had to have it.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to have a laptop. So I have my iPad that runs my ELD, and it has the app for my printer on it. So I can just print all my BOL and everything.
And you can use your cell phone.
Yes.
Yes.
So really, you don't have to have a laptop or an iPad or a tablet or
No,
anything.
just a cheap $40 printer at Walmart.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I got my printer was $24 and it lasted.
Yeah.
It lasted 7 months. Well, I had it for like 3 or 4 years before I put it in the truck.
yeah, they run out of ink, you buy a new one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just that simple.
Well,
It's cheaper.
It had internal failures.
Oh, well, yeah. Riding around on a 450, I would have internal failures too.
And then I had anger issues and
Oh,
it flew out of
now
the
the
truck.
truth comes out.
Oh, I put it on Instagram. Everyone saw it. Me and Skynet had a come to Jesus moment. I won, Skynet lost.
That's actually a pretty good question,
Doing
Jason.
your ELD stuff.
Just to show them how you work it. I'm assuming.
So are you talking about like how it works? Like what is it? How does everything work? Or are you talking about how I personally use it? Yes. My truck has an inverter in it, but yes, you would need an inverter.
Or a battery powered.
Yeah.
They do make they're like 200 some bucks, but they do make the battery powered printers.
So I have done one on how the whole ELD thing works. It's the title of the video is 72, 34, 14, 10, something like that, just a bunch of numbers. And then what does it all mean? That's where I break down exactly how the ELD works. As far as how mine works, like what I do, I push a button that says I'm on duty, and then I drive, and when I park, I push a button that says I'm off duty.
I gotta reinvent the wheel when I do mine. What was or throwing it in gravel? What was?
The printer.
Oh, that's your wife.
That is my wife.
I didn't read the name. I just read.
Yeah. So that's her road name. Yes, I do use Keep Trucking. Alright, DC, maybe I'll see you around sometime.
You're welcome, DC.
I've never had an issue with my Keep Trucking. No, once. One time. It had it locked itself in drive mode. It wouldn't let me come out of driving.
Yeah, they.
So one time in 100,000 miles, I'm not upset.
No. They don't require ELDs.
No, the ELD is not required. The Keep Trucking app is required, but the actual ELD box is not required.
Oh, it was just asked. Yeah, no, I don't use ELD. I use just the Keep Trucking app, and you just use it like the old school logbooks if you're familiar with those at all. You just got to mark what you're doing at the time, and you still got the same amount of time to drive, but
Right.
you don't have that thing yelling at you saying you have to stop. I mean, you do, but it doesn't make you, I should say.
Yes, that.
Yeah, you only need ELD if you're pulling anything besides an RV. Like a boat, you have to have an ELD. Anything that's not an RV, you have to have an ELD. And
So that's why they push.
they try to push you to do it. Yes, they do, because they want everybody at ELD so that nobody can cheat or make up the past.
Not
Like
that
your
anyone will
mom
ever do
said
that.
you could never do is change the past. But
All right, guys. This has been awesome. Definitely something I'm going to do again, but we're going to cut this here. It's time for dinner, and we're going to be climbing into bed here pretty soon. So, as always, those of you out on the roads, I wish you fair winds and following seas. Take care, and have a great day.